As you will know, Minister Wong was born in Malaysia. She began her education in Malaysia and emigrated to Australia at the tender age of 8. Her father had been an original Colombo Plan scholar studying at the University of Adelaide. Minister Wong continued her education in South Australia. She graduated with an arts law degree from the University of Adelaide and then practiced as a lawyer in Adelaide. And might I say, what a very fine pedigree that is for a future Foreign Minister. Penny was then elected to the Senate in 2001, and this year, today, she is the longest-serving female cabinet minister in Australia's history. She has had responsibility for the significant portfolios of climate change, finance, and now foreign affairs. And while we were in different political parties, in fact, we were in different parliamentary chambers, our paths crossed often in the field of foreign affairs. I found her to be a thoroughly decent, committed, and fair colleague. She is a formidable politician with a sharp intellect and wit, but she is unrelenting in her focus on better outcomes for our nation and in the national interest. Minister Wong, as our chief diplomat, faces a very challenging, often unpredictable, and highly contested environment, and it requires a deep understanding of the historic and current events that shape this environment, and the need for an ability to deftly navigate the environment regionally and internationally. In Minister Wong, we have a diplomat who is able to do that with much ability. A child of Malaysia, Australia's Foreign Minister, please welcome Minister Penny Wong.
Thank you very much, and I also begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of this land and paying my respect to elders past and present, and acknowledging and welcoming any other Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people attending here today. I also acknowledge the many distinguished guests, including members of the Diplomatic Corps. I acknowledge and thank Prime Minister Anwar and Dr. Wan Aziza for being here. I acknowledge my counterpart, the Malaysian Minister for Foreign Affairs, Tok Mat. Thank you for being here. And the Malaysian Minister for Youth and Sport, Hannah Yeoh. It's wonderful to have you here as well. It's a very great pleasure to be here at the Gareth Evans oration. I acknowledge the man himself, as well as his successor and my predecessor, Julie Bishop. And if I can thank Julie very much for her generous introduction and for her service to this country. I think on the list of longest serving women in a cabinet, she was second and I think is now third. So myself, Amanda Vanstone and Julie Bishop, it's a group of which I'm very proud to be part alongside you. As the Malaysian saying goes, ke Bukit sama Didaki, ke Lurah sama Dituruni. I have to say, having a couple of esteemed foreign ministers here did feel a little bit like coming back to university for a lecture, but presenting to professors. But luckily, the Prime Minister of Malaysia is the one who is presenting, and he is more than equipped for this task. I thank you, Prime Minister, for being here for this oration. And I thank you again publicly for being here in Australia for the ASEAN-Australia Special Summit, which concluded in Melbourne. We are most grateful. You see, we're not one of the great powers. We're not a country that has to be listened to or worked with because of the sheer size of population, economy, military or industrial weight. But like our Southeast Asian neighbours, our size does not reflect how much we have to offer our region and the world. But it does mean we have to be more clever about how we advance our interests in peace, in stability and in prosperity. We have to be more strategic in how we ensure our region enjoys a strategic balance where countries which are small or medium-sized are not dominated by the major powers, a region in which we can all decide our own destinies. And it is a template for doing what I describe as taking the world as it is and shaping it for the better. And I hope you in this room will be part of this legacy of shaping the next stage or steps in this legacy in the years to come. And of course, we have another great statesman here with us today, Malaysia's Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim. And I begin by recognising you join us on the eve of the 10th anniversary of the disappearance of MH370. And while the searches have not been successful and families continue to endure heartache, the effort to find MH370 demonstrates the close cooperation between our countries through difficult times. Mr. Prime Minister, I'm a proud Sabahan Australian, and it is a singular honour to have the opportunity to introduce the Malaysian Prime Minister here today. And it is an honour to introduce you. And I want to, in doing so, recognise the profound influence you have had not only on Malaysia, but more broadly on the development of democracy across the region. You've survived your own particular political purgatory, but notwithstanding the political and personal difficulties you have faced, you have never lost your influence. Indeed, you have only become more influential and your ability to inspire has become even greater. So without detracting in any way from your past, present and future achievements in office, I would venture so far as to describe you as one of that vanishingly rare species of political leader who has been profoundly influential not only in office but in opposition. Not only when you've held the levers of national power, but also, most decidedly, when you have not. The Prime Minister has had the courage to live the life of a true democrat, and he has shaped the character of the national and regional polity in profound ways. Malaysia, Australia, all the countries of our region have our own paths. Many nations shaped by powerful independence personalities whose lives will forever be tied to the struggle of their nations for freedom and self-rule. You, sir, though, have played a unique role in Malaysia's history, in the development of its democracy, its political practice, and the way it defines its own path in Southeast Asia. You've been an advocate for respect and tolerance in troubling times, a message we should emphasise today. Regrettably, here in Australia, we see some who claim to champion human rights and justice behaving in ways that show little regard for either. Shocking attempts at intimidation and character assassination, blatant anti-Semitism and Islamophobia. There are some intent on reproducing hatred and social conflict here, pushing absolutist agendas ahead of respect for peaceful disagreement that healthy democracy demands. We are not a country where we are pushed to adopt an absolutist position of one side or another side. We are a pluralist country, allowing for many different viewpoints, where we are united by respect for each other's humanity and for each other's right to live in peace. Prime Minister, across the years you have been a great friend to Australia and to Australians. And I am hopeful that this next stage in Australia-Malaysia relationships is one where we see further cooperation across so many areas, but not the least to support your own personal goal of strengthening Malaysia's democratic institutions. Democracy is always a work in progress, and progress comes with many setbacks, as all of us know, perhaps you more than most. But democracy's enduring wisdom lies in its ability to evolve, to tackle new challenges as human society itself continues to change. So we thank you, Prime Minister, for coming today, for returning to Australia. Please know the esteem with which you are held here, how welcome you are as a guest in our country, and how honoured we are to host you here today. As the Malaysian saying goes, "Ke Bukit sama Didaki, ke Lurah sama Dituruni." So in that spirit of friendship and respect, Datuk Sri, I invite you to the podium to deliver the 2024 Gareth Evans Oration.
Assalamu alaikum and a very good afternoon. Thank you, Minister Penny Wong, for that brilliant introduction. I think if you don't mind, I will seek permission from Albanese to borrow you for a few weeks to have campaign in Malaysia. And thank you again. And thank you, Chancellor Julie Bishop, and my great friend, Gareth Evans. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I'm delighted to be back here at ANU. I've been here a couple of times, instigating students and conspiring. An institution of consequence to this country and the broader region. When the ANU was established in 1946, its pioneers naturally envisaged that it would serve to advance higher education. More than that, the Australian government vested the ANU with a vital mission of broadening and deepening this country's understanding of what we now call the Asia-Pacific, thereby helping to define Australia's place in global affairs. In introducing the bill establishing the university, the Australian Minister for Post-War Reconstruction at the time said that Australia's relations with its neighbours and partners, quote, must be carefully studied in order that they may become friendly and fruitful, as they must be if our future is to be safeguarded and if we are to make our full contribution in the councils of the nations, leaving no one in doubt as to why this university remains a leading center for Pacific and Asian studies.